Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of WTALKS. This is a very special episode because we don't have any new guests. The guests are actually ourselves. So, hi, I'm Marc, WeWALK's head of R&D, and I'm joined today with co-host and special guest Kursat.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Kursat. Today, I'm a little bit excited, and also I'm afraid of Marc's questions. Hey, Marc, if you ask tough questions to me, I can pretend as if there is a problem in the internet connection. Hey, I didn't hear you, etc.
Away my trick. I've prepared some extra hard questions for you today. No basic questions. I guess I'll tell you what. I'm saving my hard questions, so I'll let you start. You can ask me the first question.
Okay, I will start with some warm-up questions.
Okay.
Could you introduce yourself with your childhood stories, and also please give us 3 interesting facts about you?
You're making it too easy, Kursat. Too easy.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
I'm Marc, and yeah, here's my story. So basically, I was born in Abu Dhabi, and I'm visually impaired. I have something called Leber's congenital amaurosis, which is very similar to retinitis pigmentosa in the sense that I have very little peripheral vision and very poor contrast sensitivity and night vision. And growing up in Abu Dhabi was an interesting experience because it's amazing what they've done there. They've built a city in 40 years, but at the same time, that comes with growing pains. Accessibility just is a bit of a oddly discussed topic, if that makes sense. We didn't have things like tactile paving or cane training. So when I was growing up, and I was very fortunate to have great parents who wanted me to achieve what I wanted to achieve, there were always still these growing pains where I would think to myself, is this how a visually impaired person mobilizes? Is this how they navigate? How does a visually impaired person become truly independent when the environment around them isn't that accessible? And that was a question which I had throughout my entire childhood. So really from that age, I always used to think to myself, what tech can we make? What can we make to help visually impaired people? And that continued into university. So I went to the UK to study civil engineering at Imperial College, which is, again, a very non-typical field, I guess. It's such a visual field for someone that's visually impaired, but I thought I wanted to do it because, someone's got to do it, number one. But number two, I'm very curious to see how this traditionally very sighted field would adapt to someone with a visual impairment and how we can, combine these two expertise to help improve the environment for people with a visual impairment. And obviously it was tough. And there were times where I'd think to myself, how will I do this? How is this even possible? But towards my master's year, when I specialized in transport engineering and transport accessibility, I began to see the path, the way to do it. And that's because I did a study on TfL's network where I looked at how accessibility changes across the built environment. And that's when I started realizing, wow, indoor navigation needs to be improved. Infrastructure, even in the UK, which has some of the best accessibility standards, still needs to be improved. And that's what inspired me to do my PhD, which is in the mobility and evacuation performance of people with a visual impairment. So I conducted studies looking at how a visually impaired person behaves individually and in crowd situations, doing some pedestrian behavioral modeling. And it was really fascinating stuff. And I love it, honestly. It's what gets me up in the morning. And it's that combination of the engineering and the fundamental behavior of the visually impaired is why I'm here today, basically, at WeWALK, helping to develop these technologies.
Don't miss my last part of the question. 3 interesting facts about you.
Can I do 2?
No,
we need to do a deal.
Force yourself. I believe you can do it.
All right. So first interesting fact, and this is something which many people know actually, so it's not so secret, is I love cars. I love cars a lot. So much so that I actually have a car. I have multiple. Well, I had multiple. And that's because I love fixing them. I love restoring them. My favorite car is the Mercedes-Benz CLK, the W208 from 1997 to 2003. So
Marc, I know you have cars, but every time whenever I hear this story, I cannot stop myself to laugh this. This is really interesting because I know many visually impaired people, they love cars. However, they don't have a car. You are the only visually impaired people who have the car. So
I'm a dangerous guy. No, I don't drive my car, by the way. Just gonna put this on the record to the driver and licensing agency watching in the UK. Don't worry, I don't drive my car. I know it's a safety risk. Just It's just to have one, to repair it, okay?
Yeah.
I can see people are worried now. They're like, oh my God, Jean-Marc is a risk. No. It's completely a hobby for me. I've taught myself how to rebuild engines, how to work on bodywork. And it's just so fun. It's like,
You are a real engineer.
yeah, not enough spare time, I guess. But I love it, honestly. It's one of my little passions. The second thing is, and I guess this is quite stereotypical. This is definitely more stereotypical than cars, which is music. So I love my music. I have a big collection of headphones and speakers, a little bit more than I would like to admit, actually. I've definitely spent a bit more than I would like to tell people on headphones and speakers. But I love sound. I just love, well, making music is one of my passions. So I have like a little basically hobby where I produce my tracks and everything, but I also love what you can do with sound. If you have the right equipment, the right synthesizers, the right headphones, the right set of amplifiers and speakers, you can transport yourself, you can take yourself to a different place with music. And it's one of my real passions. And again, when people come to my house and they say, okay, Jean-Marc has a car, he's a bit crazy. Oh, and Jean-Marc also has 10 headphones. What's going on here? So it is it's really quite funny, that impression. And the third interesting fact is food. So my family owns a Lebanese restaurant. My mom is crazy about her food. We have a thing in Lebanon, and it's quite dangerous, Kursat. We like to feed people a lot. And I fall victim to this at home. I eat so much, even though like it's not comfortable. But mom was like, no, you have to try it.
This is same in Turkey as well, Jean-Marc. When you visit someone, you have to eat something. If you don't eat something, they can get offended.
Really? It's the same. Like people will start wars over the dinner tables. Like, oh, do you want some more? You want some kibbeh, which is like a special. It's like, oh, you don't want any more? You can see the fire coming out of me.
And also, if you say no, thank you, I am full, they insist on, and they are asking, hey, don't you like my food?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, I'm full. I literally full. That's like a separate thing. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, so here's the thing, right? Love the restaurant. Obviously, I spend a lot of time there. I try to help where I can, but some of our WeWALK business partners have come to the restaurant because it's nice when you give someone the personal experience. People when they have meetings, they go, okay, let's meet at Costa, Starbucks, or something. But you go, no, wait a second, let's try something different. And it's amazing the connection you can build with people over food. It immediately gives you a talking point.
As a WeWALK team, we are so lucky. We have really special place to have our meetings.
Honestly, it's my pleasure. And just saying, it's like, I always say that when you want to do any business, when you want to meet anyone, it's always good to meet on something personal. Like that's, you just be honest with people. And what's more honest than food? You eat it and you like it. Like that's it. It's simple as that. There's no business collaboration agreement. It's here's food which we made. Enjoy it. And I think that's really nice. I really appreciate it. And I love my family for it. So if they're watching this, I love the restaurant. Thank you. Thank you for the times you've let me eat there.
Also, we have to thank them as well.
Amazing. Kursat, you asked me a very easy question. I'm going to ask you a tougher question.
Oh. Okay, give me 1 second. I need to prepare myself. My chair. I'm ready.
Here we go. Kursat, how did you meet your girlfriend and did you use WeWALK to impress her?
Oh, real tough question. Yes. Somehow I impressed her with the WeWALK. Here's the story. So we were working at the same building, and our offices door are next to each other. And however, my girlfriend knew me from the WeWALK and all the media coverage, etc. And after that, one day we randomly met in the corridor of our building, and also right now we are together.
Paparazzi, this is a top tip for all our WeWALK viewers. If you guys want to get a girlfriend and get famous, make them assistive technology, make sure you get on the news. and then you have Kursat.
Oh,
Three
yes.
simple steps. Simple steps to success. Amazing.
Also, I have to say that as well. You know, they don't need to create a new device. Even using the WeWALK, uh, take attention too much while you are walking in the street. You know, some people can ask something to you, and who knows?
Exactly. Exactly. You see, guys, we're making not just obstacle detection. We're not making navigation feature. We're making girlfriend detection. I love it. Okay. Amazing. Kursat, what is the most embarrassing story that you've had because of your visual impairment?
It's really embarrassing right now. I don't know how will I tell. It was around 1 month ago or something like that.
Fresh story. I love it.
Yeah, and I was going to meet my girlfriend, and I was on the phone and talking with her. You know, where are you exactly? So, are you close to this area? Blah blah. So, and she said that, ah, okay, I saw you. You know, and then oh, okay, and I said okay, and then hang up the phone, and then keep walking towards her, and while I was walking towards her, uh, uh, I felt that I felt there is someone, and I thought she's my girlfriend.
I can see where this is going.
Yeah. and then I did, you know, I said, hey baby, very good, blah blah, etc. You know, I was just joking with my girlfriend. I thought, you know, I thought I was joking with her. and even I did, you know, even I sent a kiss to her, you know, distantly, not really, you know, like
Okay.
and after that,
Well, at least you saved yourself.
after that, I noticed that she's not my girlfriend because she didn't react to me, you know, and I kept walking towards my girlfriend. After that, and my girlfriend said, "Hey, how are you? I'm here," etc. And then I started to laugh, and I told this story to herself, and because she asked, so why were you talking with this girl? You know, what did you say to her?
Oh my God. Okay, Kursat, I'm building girlfriend detection feature for you. Okay, I'm gonna see who's our product manager.
No, yeah.
We're doing it.
John, you know, so the first time I have experienced such a thing. Normally, you know,
Oh,
normally I'm not doing every time that, you know, in my life, whole life, first time I have experienced that.
that's amazing. Now we have it on video, by the way. So your future kids are gonna look at this.
Yes,
Everyone in WeWalk now is gonna look at this. No, I love it. That's an amazing story. Kursat, your turn.
okay. I have some questions. Just I'm picking which one should I ask. Uh, Jean-Marc, right now you are you are right now you are the lead of R&D at WeWalk. So how did WeWalk story start for you, and what affect your decision to work at WeWalk?
Kursat, that's a very good question, actually. And it's an interesting question because everyone keeps asking it to me at meetings whenever we go meet someone. And I always wonder to myself, why do people care so much about how this all started? But it's an interesting story nonetheless. So here is the first recording of it, so people will stop asking. Please keep asking. So about a year and a half ago now, I was taking part in something called the TFL Hackathon with my PhD research group at Imperial College. And the
TfL means Transport for London, by the way.
yes, it's the London Transport Authority here.
Mhm.
And the hackathon was to improve navigation for the visually impaired. So the day before the hackathon, I was online and I was thinking to myself, what if we can integrate these mobility technologies, this indoor navigation, with a smart cane, a device that a visually impaired person uses all the time? And at the time, WeWALK was very young. There was practically no WeWALK. This was no company. This was still when we were at the very first days of prototyping. And I was online and I saw something called the YGA, which is the WeWALK parent NGO. And I saw that WeWALK wasn't something called WeWork. Now, at the time in my head, I was thinking, WeWork, WeWALK, must be the parent company. It makes sense. So I call WeWork and I'm so excited. I'm like, yes, I found you guys. Please borrow your cane. I'm doing PhD in visual impairment. We have such aligned visions. And after 15 minutes, the woman behind the reception, she was like, wait, you want to buy office space? And I didn't know that WeWork was an office company. I had no idea. I was like, what? Wait, does the office space help me improve accessibility for visually impaired people? I don't understand. Can you explain? And I guess she was so fed up with me just like not understanding or just like continuously asking that she was like, okay, we'll put you in touch with someone who can help you. So 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, I send another email to go, I really wanted to see this project. And then I get a call from someone called Gyokan. And I was like, yeah, hi, very interested in a project. And he was like, oh, so you're the guy that keeps calling WeWork. They said, stop calling. So anyway, we met up. I told him the story and we met up that day, that very day before the hackathon. We realized, wow, our vision is identical here. And we can really build something together. And that's really how it all started. I took the cane, we took it to the TfL hackathon the next day, and we actually won. So our solution was to create a navigation system that would adapt based on the different visual capabilities of people with different visual impairments, and it would be compatible with WeWALK. And since that day, it's been history. And one of the interesting fun facts was, because that was the first prototype in the UK, I accidentally stepped on the box when we were actually at the hackathon. So when I gave it back to Gyokan, he was like, what did you do with the box? You have to come work for us now. You're in debt. You're in debt to us. You need to make it. That's how the trap began.
Cool, really cool story. Also, this question has another part. What affected your decision to work at WeWALK? My all questions has two parts so far.
Kursat, I destroyed the box. I had no choice. No, honestly, it's I have to say, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. From the very first day I met Gyokan, and from the very first day I met the WeWALK team and the product that we're working on, I saw that there was something very interesting going on. It wasn't just a product. It wasn't just we need to help visually impaired people by making a cane. It was we need to change people's mindsets. We want to cultivate a team of socially responsible people that are going to work together to solve the world's problems. There was such a huge focus on people. It was, how are you doing? How do you feel? What do you think of the product? Before just going, okay, here are the targets. You must now deliver this product. It's almost like once you give your team the right freedom and the right passion to work for the product will come naturally. You don't have to set a target and let the team, essentially work towards it. The team itself will work towards it. And I love that. I love that attitude to work. I love this whole attitude of, it's not just about coming into work from 9 to 5, but it's about going into work and loving everything you do and meeting the people that are around you and just almost having a family instead of a team.
Yeah, Jean-Marc, we are spending most of our times, together. That's why, in terms of, for myself as well, if I didn't like my job, I wouldn't work. I can easily change my job and what I'm doing right now, etc. This is key point for everyone, not just for you. I also love to work somewhere that I can enjoy together with all my team. And this is the key point for me. So it means if I didn't enjoy with you, I wouldn't like to work with you. So that's why it's really pleasure to work together, Jean-Marc. right now, as you've seen, we are having too much fun together. Uh,
It's like this, honestly.
yeah.
These are our meetings. It's like our meetings at WeWalk are like going to a friend's house and like playing The Sims or like building a game together. It's like it's honestly more fun as it is work. It's two equal things, and I love that. I genuinely love going into the office and going, I'm going to see a friend today, and we're going to make something really cool.
Mhm.
Instead of going, I'm going to go to my 9 to 5 job, and basically just try to deliver on something which I don't care about. That's not the case at all. So that's I
Mhm.
value it. Kirsha, my turn for your question, and I really
Okay.
appreciate your kind words, by the way. Honestly, love working with you guys too. So my question for you now is a simple one. I'm going to take it back. I want to know about your story and how
Hmm.
you transition.
Uh, my story, and I I
and and
didn't I couldn't
and
hear
how
you.
and how we all came about. So
Okay.
how did it
Okay.
get? How are you now the Kursat that we know?
So I am blind since birth, and I have one brother. He is also visually impaired. Uh, I grew up. I grew up in Turkey, and I went to primary school for blind children. It was boarding school. It means I left from my house while I was 7 years old. Um, as you guess, it was kind of tough times for me. However, right now when I turn back and evaluate all my process, living from house at 7 age, and uh, all these process gave me really independency and confidence because I had to solve all my problems. I had to survive alone. I had to arrange my wardrobe. I had to clean my clothes, etc., clean my room while I was 7 years old. And that's why I feel myself lucky. And then I went to inclusive high school education. After that, I studied psychological counseling at university. And I have been as an exchange student in USA while I was studying at university. And after exchange period, when I turned back to Turkey, I applied YGA. YGA is a non-governmental organization which offers 2 years social innovation program to university students. And each year, more than 50,000 students apply for YGA social innovation program. And only 50 among 50,000 are selected to this program. I was one of them. And when I was accepted to this program, I started to work on developing technologies for visually impaired people with the co-founders, other co-founders of the WeWALK. We met each other in YJ Social Innovation Program. It was almost 10 years ago. And after my university graduation, I worked at Roche pharmaceutical companies. And after that, when I resigned from the company, I started to work on developing technologies for visually impaired in YGA professionally. And for the last 4 years, I have been working on WeWALK technology with all friends, with all my colleagues.
It's an incredible story. And one thing I want to pick up on is the thing you said about independence. Now, for you, it came a lot earlier in your life than it did for me. So my first real like experience of living alone and cleaning my room and picking out the wardrobe came when I was 18, when I moved to the UK to study at university. And I don't know how it was like for you, but I remember that once you get that, that ability to go independently, that's a big thing. It's stressful at the beginning. It's not easy. Obviously, it's
Yeah,
not easy.
yeah,
Once
yeah,
you
it
go
was.
out of your comfort zone, you begin to realize you can be independent if you really want to. And bear in mind, my eyesight was degrading at the time. I had no idea how I would navigate university. I was in London. It was a totally new environment. And it was tough. I'm not saying it's not tough. I totally get it. It's totally tough. But it's like if you push yourself, and to everyone out there that's watching, honestly, nothing's impossible. The tech out there, the people out there, people just want to help. People just want to make tech that helps you. And the attitudes to people have always been, at least in the UK for me, and I think this is also elsewhere to the countries that we visited, people always just want to help you succeed in most cases.
Mhm.
And that independence, that big jump in life is a big thing for the confidence boost, I think. And that's a key part of independence, having the confidence, realizing that people want to help you, realizing that you can do it yourself. And how was it, Kursat? I mean, when you were 7, moving to be independent, that's a big thing.
Yes, but right now, when I evaluate all my life, I can easily say that that kind of challenges make me Kursat, make me that I'm right now. So that's why maybe I like challenges and experience new things. So it was a really good experience for me.
I love that. It's like, it's what makes you. The challenges are what make you. It's like, I'm Mark because of my challenges. If life was always easy, then we'd never have need for social impact tech. We'd never be here. So
Also, but also we have to underline that uh, everyone experiences some challenges, not just the visually impaired people. So this is my challenge. This was my challenge in my life. However, when we interview with a sighted person, I'm sure he can tell many challenges from his life. That's why so maybe some sighted people can watch us and they shouldn't think that, oh, visually impaired people's lives really tough, really difficult. So I believe it's as difficult as uh, sighted people.
I like that. It's like life is just tough for everyone. And we just need to empathize. We need to understand and empathize with other people's situation, basically.
Yeah.
And just help each other out, make life easier for everyone else instead of making it more difficult.
So
Kursat,
is it my turn or your
yes,
turn?
your turn for me now.
Okay then. My question, Jean-Marc, you are a really successful person. Uh, you are making your PhD in Imperial College, but beyond that, I'm working with you, and I know how you are working and how successful you are.
Oh,
So
thank you, Kursat. You're making me
my question
all the
is,
viewers now are gonna I'm gonna start crying.
uh,
Thank you.
um, there should be a inner motivation for making all these. For there should be inner motivation to force yourself. So why do you force yourself to make all these successes? And also, what is the meaning of life for you? What is your life's vision?
That's a big question. Now we're getting really philosophical, guys. Now I need to put my seatbelt on.
Please.
So, it's a really good question, actually. And I think for me, it's two things. The first one is, and I think this is more of a widespread thing, I think many people kind of think like this as well, which is everyone just wants stability in their life. Everyone wants to, raise a family, make sure they can provide for their parents, make sure that they can provide for their community and their society. People just want to get through life.
Mhm.
And obviously that's one of the reasons for me. So I realized that I need to put the work in. My visual impairment, yes, obviously it's a tough card which was dealt to me, but I've had many other positive cards in life. And no matter how many tough cards you have, and I know, from my situation, I admit I am somewhat privileged. I have a really caring family. Luckily, they were able to send me to school, sure. But I've learned that even that one negative card, which is my visual impairment, it can get you down. And it's your job to realize that you can build yourself a stable family, you can build yourself a stable life, you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. There's always something that you can do no matter what hand of cards you're dealt. And I think that's one of my big motivations, which is to overcome my visual impairment and to go, yes, I'm lucky to have this education. Yes, I'm lucky to be in a position that I am today. But I also want to make sure that I can make something for myself, that I can make a stable life, that I can deliver something for my kids as a visually impaired person.
Mhm.
The second thing is, and this is really, it's something which gets me up every single morning. it's the visually impaired community and any of the disabled communities that I've worked with. And that's because when you work with these communities, as for anything, if it comes to research, if it comes to advisory boards, whatever it is, once you start working with this community, you begin to realize that people just want to live a normal life. People just want independence. People just want to get out, and they're usually people are very accepting towards new changes, towards people helping them become more mobile, and more independent. And knowing that I'm playing a part in that, knowing that tomorrow me going into work and designing something for WeWALK that might help a visually impaired person leave his house, and that guy might never have left his house before. The fact that we have the capability to do that gets me up every single morning. It's genuinely why I do this. It really is. And every day that I write in that PhD, obviously it's nice to have a PhD. Obviously it's nice to say, yeah, I got this. But there has to be that second component, which is, why am I doing this? Like, what's the social impact? Am I actually helping the people which I interact with?
So otherwise, are you making all these academic researches for the sake of making research, or for the sake of greater good?
Exactly. It has to be two in hand, and it has to be both. I admit, you obviously have to have some self pushing. You have to say, okay, I'm doing a PhD because I want to be successful. Obviously, you need to aim for success. That's the point. And otherwise, there's no drive. But at the same time, you cannot just focus on, okay, I just want success. I don't care what I do. I don't care who I affect. I just want success. That'll never happen, because success is strongly dictated by the people around you, by your communities, by who you help. I mean, by definition, an organization, a business, is people. It's in the name, organization. So it's a team journey, and just knowing that I'm part of that team is what gets me up in the morning.
Perfect. Yeah. So, who is your turn? Your turn, Jean-Marc. Listening you is really enjoyable. So.
I appreciate it. No, it's my turn for you now. Here we go.
Okay.
This one's an interesting one, actually. It's more technical. If WeWALK could only have one perfect feature, what would it be? Only one feature that would be perfection.
Only one feature.
Yeah.
You are asking only one feature. However, if you allow me, I will add one little extra feature at the end of my thought. Okay.
Fine, I'll allow you. I'll try.
Okay, thank you. So I really would like to have. I will describe as a fully autonomous blind journey. I will tell my WeWALK, hey, take me to closest Starbucks, for example, and it will take me to bus stop, and then it will alert me when the bus arrive, and when I get on the bus, it will give information which stop that I have to get off, and then it will give direction to shopping center, which is the Starbucks located. And then when I enter the shopping mall, it will keep giving navigation at the indoor venue without any cut. So this would be my perfect feature. But at the end, I really would like to use all this technology with the voice detection technology. Instead of using the touchpad or button or whatever, I want to use with just 1, 2, 3 words. Take me to closest Starbucks, and all things will be started.
I have to agree. If it was also in my case, I would say the exact same thing. I think autonomous navigation is the future. And it's funny you say that, Kursat. Slightly biased here, but isn't that the future we're currently working on?
Oh, you are giving some clues, huh? From our roadmap, yes. In near future, we will announce some new features from the WeWALK. And you're right. This is normal because we are developing the technology, and so as you guess, we can build our own technology according to our vision. So
Exactly. But saying that, and that's a big thing for us to WeWalk, is like we use the technology we build, and Kursat, he's got his WeWalk, I've got mine. But we have to say, and I'll put this in because I think it's important for everyone to hear it from us as well. Every single customer we speak to, that we sell a WeWalk to, that comes to our offices, we genuinely take your feedback as well. Because obviously, Kursat, myself,
yeah, exactly.
we have different visual impairments. So obviously that already gives us an advantage here where we have two different perspectives on the product.
Mm-hmm.
But the feedback we get has been so inspirational. Like people have asked for low vision features. People have asked for navigation to have clockwise directions, for instance.
Yeah, exactly. There are some people who like touchpad. There are some people who don't like touchpad. So, we cannot classify visually impaired people into only one group. So there are many different styles. So we are all open to new ideas, feedbacks, and always we are saying that we are not developing technologies for the visually impaired people. We are developing technologies with the visually impaired people. And that's why in our group right now, 5-6 visually impaired people are working with us.
Exactly. And we have, hey, look, if you watch our previous webinars, which I highly recommend you do if you enjoyed this one, we work with the people that we put on the webinars. I mean, they're very inspirational to us. I mean, Sanjay, Akib, the work they've done is amazing. Yeah. And I was joking around to Kursat with this, and I was thinking, wait a second, every single person we've like worked with and collaborated with, we bring them on are the webinars like our new job interviews? Every week we're like, yeah, do you want a job? Or do you have to come on the webinar and we'll see what you do. That's the performance review. I hope you give me a good review after this, Kursat. I give you a good review. You're a good WeWALK co-founder.
Yeah, thank you so much. So then I, after these good words, I shouldn't force yourself with my questions.
No, tell me. What's the question? Okay,
so, my question is, Jean-Marc, it was around 2 years ago. I was having a meeting with a professor from the Columbia University, and he told me there are 3 elements which have effect on people's self-improvement. The first one is data and science. Just as an example, according to research, according to article, waking up early is making people more successful. So this is data and science. And a second element is inspiring stories. As an example, founder of the Twitter is waking up so early, so and blah blah blah. We can tell such stories. And as the third element is the role models. So instead of checking the data, instead of reading the research articles, etc., or instead of reading or listening to stories, you are spending time with such role models who are waking up early, and you are witnessing himself, how he is successful. So what do you think? Which method is better to improve yourself? What do you think?
Now, here's an interesting question. You keep mentioning waking up early, and I think you're doing that because we were actually supposed to film this webinar at 7 a.m. today morning. But I actually ended up waking up a bit later. So I was like, Kursat, can we just do this later in the afternoon? Are you sending me a message? Are you sending me a message?
No, I know. So whenever it needs, you can easily wake up early. I'm sure that. So
no, I'm just kidding. So okay, I think it's an interesting question because some of the best assistive tech devices, some of the most successful platforms we see today, not even in assistive tech, just in general.
But this is just the beginning of my question.
Oh, there's okay. Tell me what the second one is. Tell me the second part so I can prepare
Second
myself.
part is inspiring stories.
Oof, okay. Okay, I'll tell you what I think about it. I think the best tech and the best platforms kind of come out of abnormal activity. Because if everyone did the same thing, if everyone woke up early, we wouldn't need sleeping pills. If everyone, if you know what I mean? If visually impaired people could see, if we would say, okay, a person has to be able to travel at night to be successful, for instance, and a visually impaired person can travel at night. It's these abnormalities in societies. It's these different behavioral patterns in humans that end up making the technologies we see today. It's why, you know, human research, human factors analysis, it's why civil engineering exists. It's because we're all different. That's the beauty of it. Now, obviously, I'm not saying you don't have any, you know, to be successful, you shouldn't have any discipline. You should wake up anytime you want, not go to school. No, of course not. Like there has to be discipline. But
Yeah,
it's
but I, you know, I was just asking the which method is better to self improvement. You know,
that's how
they,
this escaping the question, Kursat.
yeah, I will give the answer to you that I got from the professor. The role models. Role models are the most effective way to uh, improve yourself. So my question is, do you have a role model or a mentor in your life? So if you have, which characteristics, which philosophy that he has or she has, you admire most?
I see what you did there, and I really respect that because by definition of having a role model, it's like you've defined yourself with all the other features. Because what the role model's been doing has probably been beneficial, has been successful. You've taken the best part of them, and I'd go one step further actually, and I'd say that your role models shouldn't just be one perfect person. You should have multiple role models, even if they're average, even if they're bad. Because what you do is you you should take the best out of people. You know, you should look at many different people because you can never be someone else. It's, you know, you're yourself and you have different features and different characteristics.
Yeah.
And it's about not just saying, okay, I'm going to be this person, but going, what has this person done that's been beneficial? And what has this person done that's not good? How can we learn from our mistakes? Because to be successful, you have to learn from your mistakes. So I think role models, both good and bad, to go, how do we learn from everyone, basically? If I have one role model, I have to say, and this is going to be a very stereotypical answer. I feel like already I've kind of dodged the question by saying I think they're all important. This is very stereotypical, but it's honestly true because it's been the person that I've spent the most time with in my life, the person that's, you know, got me to where I am today. It has to be my parents. It's such an easy answer. That's the thing. Now I feel like you're
Yeah, okay, but
end the webinar. No, but I'll tell you why. Let me refrain because I know people have the best parents in the world. Well, no, there's more than that. So my dad had very humble beginnings. You know, he, you know, before getting into engineering, he was born to a Lebanese family. You know, his dad was a mechanic, which is, I guess, where I got the gene from the cars, I guess. But it was a beginning where you had to work to be successful. You had to, you know, motivate yourself. But it wasn't like you have to work, and if you don't work, you're a failure. No. It was a very loving and nurturing, like, we want to support you to do what you want to do. And again, I know I'm very lucky to have that. I understand that I'm privileged to have that, and I'm so thankful for it. But it had an impact on my life. And I genuinely think that if it wasn't for my parents going, Jean-Marc, you have a visual impairment. We're worried for you. Obviously, you know, we want to help you. We care about you. But the way we care about you isn't by just worrying you and suppressing you and stopping you from getting an education and stopping you from going out. On the contrary, we want you to make the most of what you have left in your sight. You know, we know your sight's degrading. Sure, we can help you with treatment. We're going to do our best to find a way to fix that. But this is what it is right now, and we all have our hardships. And it's just about using what you have, using what sight you have left to achieve what you have left. And honestly, if I didn't have that influence as a young child, then where would I be today? And it was the same thing for me. I was like, okay, you know, I have access to education. I have a lovely family. It's just I'm missing some sight. And it's almost for my dad. It's the same thing. It's like, you know, he had a great family. He had a good upbringing, but he didn't have, at the time, there were no funds. He had to work for his education. He had to fight for his job. He had to fight to move to Abu Dhabi to build his construction company. So it's that going that nothing in life is perfect. Nothing in life starts out perfect. It's about what you do with it. And he definitely was the one to teach me that. Kursat, I have a question for you.
Perfect role model. And Jean-Marc, he's not only role model for you, he's really role model for myself as well.
Kursat, for you as well, it's an important question, and I'm curious. What would you say?
Yes, you are right. Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
There is no only one role model in people's life, but I can tell maybe the most effective person. So he is the founder of the YGA. He is Sinan Yaman, because he's really inspiring person, and he taught me to believe my dreams and follow that, and also when I met with himself, as a visually impaired person, there are many limitations in the work life. For example, in Turkey, many visually impaired people become a teacher or lawyer, but you cannot see a visually impaired person as a medical doctor. So this is the limitations. So there are some ways, and you have, as if you are visually impaired people, generally you follow these ways. So however, Sinan Yaman showed me that there should be a different way, and also I can help myself, as well as I can help others by doing new technologies, etc. So that's why I can easily say that Sinan Yaman is my role model, and so also with the Sinan Yaman, I started a journey with himself. Right now, I know that this is not just creating a WeWALK story. This is not just creating a WeWALK journey. This is a journey of Kursat. While we are developing these technologies, how will I improve myself as a person? This is a journey through self-actualization. So that's why he's my role model. By the way, I would like to thank him too as well from here.
That's amazing. I really appreciate that. I think what's in common here between our role models is they're enablers. They're the people in society that say yes you can instead of yes no you can't. And I think that's such a powerful thing, like going up to people and just telling them you can. And there's no harm in just giving someone the motivation and the passion to do something. Like I always think that in education or when dealing with people, you cannot just go, okay, you did a bad job, you can't. That's such a glass half empty approach. If you shift it over and you go, I understand that it's tough, I understand that it's difficult, but that doesn't mean that you can't. It means that you can. It's just going to be a little bit harder, but it'll be even more satisfying when you overcome that challenge. That's a big change in mindset. And I can see that ideology there. And I to everyone watching, once you begin to maintain that in life, and I'm sure the majority of people have this, but once you really accept that if you approach life with a positive outlook, when you imagine that things are possible, obviously be realistic. But when you move to that glass half full approach, when you start to realize that the issue with the challenge isn't that you can't, but that you're just going to be more satisfied when you overcome it, that's a big change in ideology. So my final question for you is, if you had one thing to say to the world, what would it be?
It would be love starts small, but always grows, from Queen Elizabeth. So this sentence is so meaningful for myself, because we can easily apply this sentence to all our lives. We can easily apply to our work life. if, if you want to create a big change, you have to you have to work every day, and we will see it will really grow. Also, we can easily apply in our personal life. So that's why love starts small, but always grows.
I love that. That's so powerful because the only way is growth. Literally, as you grow, you grow. As time progresses, as you mature, you grow. There's no way to take back time. So whatever experience you learn today will grow you as a person. There's no going back. And I think that's really powerful. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jean-Marc. With your questions, you really forced me, and but I believe it became a really good interview.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I had so much fun, guys. I know I think we've been going for almost an hour now as well, but honestly, I genuinely enjoyed every single second of this. It's always, Kursat, it's always a pleasure speaking with you. So just to everyone,
hope they might enjoy as well.
like, oh, these two have been talking for an hour. What have they talked about? No, but just to let you all know as well, all our WeWALK customers, the way we work is, so Gyokan and myself, Gyokan is one of the other WeWALK co-founders and VP of growth, are based in the UK, and Kursat and Sadik, as well as the rest of our tech team, are actually based in Turkey. So the way we've had to work is we've almost had to always work remotely. So we're kind of used to this, but it makes for a very interesting journey and for a very interesting work dynamic. And I think it's been a really amazing journey. And I have to say this now, a year and a half in WeWALK, the things that we do is every day is an amazing day. I hope every one of our WeWALK customers, sees what we're trying to do. If you ever need anything, if anyone in our WeWALK community ever needs anything, be it customer support, be it, just to talk about visual impairment and how we can develop tech together, just shoot us a line, drop us an email at, our support email, and we'll be in touch. We're a very small team, so chances are either myself or Kursat at some point we'll have a look at it. So it's a very personal thing for us. It very much so is a tech which we have developed for ourselves and for our people as well. It's not just another product. Anyway, it's been a huge pleasure. I love this episode. We're going to be back next week for another guest. But if you guys enjoy this and you want to know more about the WeWALK team, please let us know in the comment section below. And hey, we might do this with other members of the WeWALK team, Kursat. You never know. If people want to know more about our products,
they're not as enjoyable as me. So,
Kursat, they're gonna be watching this.
yeah, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm joking. Amazing. So please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and for being part of the WeWALK community. And we'll catch you next week. Thanks, Kursat.
Take care. Bye.